This territory covers more than 22 million acres, or twice the size of Switzerland. On this occasion, we investigate the Moxi-Hatatima tribe of the Brazilian Amazon, one of the 3 Yanomami indigenous groups living in a reserve of dense tropical forests and mountains in northern Brazil and southern Venezuela. This tribe has been very reluctant to have contact with outsiders, so they are currently monitored from the air. Can you imagine living in the jungle in complete isolation? Well, today, I'll tell you about the life of this tribe. Stay tuned. 1. The tribe was rediscovered in 2011 when an airplane flew over the Amazon rainforest and captured some images of them. They not only reject contact with outsiders, but also keep their distance from other indigenous groups living in the same territory. 2. It is believed that the tribe consists of about 100 people who have chosen to separate themselves from the outside world and other tribes. They inhabit northern Brazil, very close to the border with Venezuela. 3. Extreme isolation has protected the Moxi-Hatatima from diseases such as malaria. Their settlements are very difficult to locate from above, as they are in the middle of the dense tropical rainforest. 4. The tribe is not considered dangerous. However, experts have recommended that they remain isolated, as contact could lead to the spread of diseases to which they are not immune. 5. Although this community lives in an area protected by the Brazilian government, the indigenous rights group Survival International has warned that the land is being invaded by more than 5,000 illegal miners. 6. The few images that have been released of them show the roofs of their houses. Researchers decided to make them public to raise awareness of the threats this community faces due to illegal mining. 7. Members of the tribe organize themselves around a communal circular structure known as a malacca. Photos taken in 2016 showed that they had built 2 more thatched roofs, which suggested to researchers that the number of families has increased. 8. In the malacca, or llano, different families live together. Each section of the llano has a square structure, and a separate family lives in each one. There, they hang hammocks, store food, and light fires. 9. There have been several clashes between the tribes and mining groups, the most notorious being the Haxamu massacre when 16 Yanomami were killed in 1993. 10. The conservation of indigenous territories like this one has gained international importance, as it has been shown to help reduce carbon emissions from deforestation. 11. The Moxi-Hatatima do not possess any industrial goods, such as aluminum pots, machetes, or fabrics. Observations have not detected them using any manufactured products or metal items. 12. About 22,000 Yanomami live on the outskirts of the Brazilian reserve, but the Moxi-Hatatima are the most isolated among them. At least 3 groups of the Yanomami population have no contact with the outside world. 13. The Brazilian government established the Yanomami Indigenous Territory in 1992, a few months before the Earth Summit was held in Rio de Janeiro. 14. Before the creation of the reserve, the indigenous people were being annihilated by the violence of invaders and by diseases such as the flu and measles. The tribes began to recover once the government allocated funds for the conservation of the region. 15. Mining is contaminating the region's once pristine waterways with mercury, as it is widely used to separate gold from sediment. This toxic element is accumulating in fish, endangering the lives of indigenous communities. 16. Besides population, miners have brought diseases such as malaria and measles to the region, which concerns various organizations due to the possibility of an epidemic breaking out among the indigenous people. 17. During a surveillance flight, the Moxi-Hatatima were captured waving their spears at the airplane, similarly to how another tribe in the area had reacted a few years earlier. 18. All indications suggest that this tribe is composed of the remnants of a vast group of Yaro-Ami-speaking Yanomami peoples, who since 1920 have occupied the Mukajai-Katramani area on foot. 19. The Mukajai-Katramani intervloop is located near the headwaters of the Apawai River, which is surrounded by mines in virtually all directions, posing a latent danger to the Moxi-Hatatima people. 20. The first records of the region were made in 1932, when the Yanomami constituted a rather large group. Some of their members made contact with explorers. 21. According to Yanomami accounts, during the 1920s, there were intergroup conflicts that resulted in several movements towards the rivers. Part of the group lived in the Arapari region and moved to the Adjarani River basin. 22. The events that marked contact with some Yanomami groups were the measles epidemic in 1968 and the opening of a section of the Northern Perimeter Highway in their territory in 1973. 23. The Yanomami make up a culture heritage consisting of at least 6 subgroups that speak languages from the same family, known as Yanomam, Yanomami, Yaroami, Sonoma, Nainam, and Yanoma. 24. It is known that the Yanomami have extensive knowledge of botany and use around 500 plants for food, as well as for building and maintaining their homes. 25. Their main activities are hunting, gathering food, and fishing, but they also have cassava and banana plantations located in large prairies that are not covered by the forest. 26. Shamans are the spiritual guides of the community and inhale the smoke of a hallucinogenic plant called yakoana, which they believe puts them in contact with the beyond. 27. The name Moxie Hatatima derives from the fact that the men keep their foreskin or moxie held with 2 strings called hatate and tied to their waist, while their Yanomami neighbors tie the foreskin with a simple cotton thread. 28. The invasion of their territory by gold seekers forced the tribe to move northeast and abandon the area they had occupied for decades. 29. From 1987 to 1990, it is estimated that there were over 100 gold seekers in the territory, with 300 to 500 machines working daily and 300 planes flying over the area. 30. In 1990, rumors circulated of an armed conflict between miners and the Moxie Hatatima, and it was even believed that the tribe had disappeared as a result of this conflict and the diseases they were thought to have contracted from contact with the miners. 31. The Moxie Hatatima people remained forgotten for a time after being displaced from their territory until they were located in 2011 during a reconnaissance flight conducted by FUNAI. 32. Due to the government reducing the budget for the protection of indigenous lands, the protection bases installed in the territory were temporarily deactivated, and gold seekers occupied them as support bases for their logistics. 33. In 2019, it was announced that the protection bases in Yanomami territories would be resumed by FUNAI, monitoring the Mukajai tributary and demarcation, as well as Korkor Ma. 34. The Moxie Hatatima build their homes in an elliptical shape and are located very close to a large field area of around 49 acres, mostly composed of banana plantations. 35. It is possible that this type of architecture characteristic of the Yanomami group originated during their first contacts with non-indigenous people between the 1950s and the 1970s. 36. When they were offered weapons such as machetes, axes, or knives, they did not accept them, preferring to continue using their traditional weapons that they make themselves. 37. In photographs, it has been possible to see that they have 17 juxtaposed sloping roofs, which is why it has been estimated that their population does not exceed 100 people. They are also known as the isolated people of Serra da Estrutura. 38. Among the tools they use are stone axes, and another instrument they use to fell trees and build their houses. When they have encountered wooden axes or machetes, they have left them behind. 39. In November 2021, an indigenous person from the Apuayu region reported the deaths of 2 Moxie Hatatima individuals due to an attack perpetrated by gold seekers. The conflict began because some warriors of the tribe approached the Feixia Preta mine, intending to expel the invaders from their territory. 40. During the confrontation, 3 miners were struck by arrows, and the group responded by firing guns at the natives, resulting in the death of the 2 indigenous individuals. 41. One of the arrows shot by the warriors was picked up by a young indigenous person from the Upper Mujakai region who witnessed the events. The arrow is currently in a community in the Apuai region. 42. Satellite images have revealed that more than 100 hectares of forest have already been destroyed due to illegal activities taking place in this territory. 43. Since 2019, there have been reports that the Moxie-Hatatima had been shot at with rifles after they tried to defend their fields using arrows against the invaders. 44. 4 murders of Moxie-Hatatima indigenous people have been recorded in recent years, which represents a 5% loss of the total tribe. It is feared that due to the Yanomami justice system, the natives may organize new attacks against the miners to avenge the deaths they suffered. 45. Davi Kopanawa is a Yanomami shaman and activist who became president of the Yanomami Hatukora Association. He is called the Dalai Lama of the forest for his activities in favor of the conservation of indigenous territory. 46. Specialists have pointed out the importance of preserving these communities as they accumulate unique knowledge that has been developed over thousands of years and are excellent guardians of the forests, which is a very good tool to prevent deforestation. 47. For researcher Francesca Fiacco, it is a mistake to believe that these tribes are backward or to think of them as primitive remnants of a time that no longer exists. Instead, she proposes that we see them as contemporaries who make up an essential part of human diversity. 48. The director of the Survival Organization has pointed out that tribes make up complex societies, perfectly capable of living successfully without the external notions of progress and development. 49. All specialists agree that the best way to help them is to leave them alone and ensure that their rights and territories are respected, as isolated tribes have shown that they do very well on their own. 50. If tribes like Moxie-Hatatima disappear, the conservation of the Amazon rainforest would be at serious danger, as it would be completely exposed to deforestation, as well as illegal logging and mining. Have you heard of this lost Brazilian tribe before? What surprised you the most about their characteristics? If you want to keep learning about cultures from other countries, check out this video about Iceland. See you soon.